texting Amber, like, "Mom, you're there."
Well, Brayden said he thought she was at something. Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to call to order the Norwood City School District Board of Education Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, February the 4th. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood is absent. Ms. Ballard, absent. Mrs. Rarica?
Here.
Mr.
Present.
Taylor? Mr. Taylor? Mrs. Cole?
Present. All right, if you would stand for the pledge, please.
Amber said.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, continuing on with the agenda, item 4, this is our discussion items. And under 4.01, tonight we have an update for Norwood High School from Principal Mr. Mark Gabbard. So at this time, Mr. Mark Gabbard, I will turn the floor over to you, and I see that your mic is on, so we're good to go.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me tonight. At this time of year with the high school, we do the course of study for the upcoming year, 25-26, and we're going to present. I'd sent a link earlier today. That was this year's, so that new link should be sent to you either today or on the agenda. We have updated that. There's not really much changes that go with that, but time to time, year to year, there's certain things you have to update with each year. If the one big one was the update was on page 5, the academic diploma with honors and career tech diploma with honors. At that page at the very bottom, it mentions that these standards go beyond the standards of requirements for diploma for the classes 2023 and beyond. Students must meet the general graduation requirements and complete the requirements outlined to qualify for honors diplomas. Students can reach this by reaching out to their counselors and setting up an appointment to go after other honors diplomas that we do have. With that, we'll jump into my little presentation here. One of the things that we implemented this year was a credit recovery class. So one of what that means basically is each and every year we have students that transfer in from other high schools, and every high school has their different curriculums and how they do things. And depending on private school or parochial school, there's classes that need to be made up, and those students want to stay on pace with their grade level. On occasion, we do have a kid that might be behind a little bit on a credit or was sick or something like that. So we have set up a bell that we implemented this credit recovery class instead of an elective. They do this credit recovery class. Basically, we started out with math with an algebra lab. Math has been challenging throughout not just our district, but throughout the state. And with our data crunching that we do on a regular basis, we look at what could benefit our students or provide extra support leading up to those state tests in Algebra 1. What we've done is by implementing this algebra lab in that extra bell, and we have basically upped our scores, and we had more kids not having to take that test a second time. One of the things that we'd like to be adding in the future, we won't be adding it this coming year, but in the future, we'd like to do that with geometry as well. We are also doing something called Lead for Change with our freshmen. And we've incorporated, we could do this with eighth graders now. As we're going through each year, things start to change. We found out that we can start getting some of these 12-point credentialing that's coming up on the report card, and we can get eighth graders started in this process. So Lead for Change is a program that works with team building and putting certain projects together that they come up with as a group. And each and every classroom or advisory that they do this in has freshmen in their class, and the eighth graders do this as well. They can earn up to 3 credentialing points by going through each module. And after they complete that 5th module, if they want to apply for a grant opportunity, they can get a grant opportunity to implement their project. With that, 12-point credentialing, our goal was why wait until their junior, senior year? We wanted to get this as early as possible. So if they get those 3 points with Lead for Change, then we also, their freshman year, we can get them another point with CPR. So through our district nurse and our high school health teacher, we're able to provide CPR training and certifications for ninth graders. They take this in a regular curriculum every year. So each semester, she has a new group of kids, and they take this every single year. Now that these two, Natasha Briggers and Miss Marsh, they are both this past summer went through training to become a director or a leader in this particular part, an instructor, so that when they teach this particular lesson, they have certain testing. The health department actually has volunteered to come over and help as well. We have all the mannequins and everything that we need. And through that certification, we can get an additional point. So by the end of their freshman year, they should have at least 4 points. Next, we have School Links. Starting in 6th grade, students all the way through 12th grades work through School Links. And in the middle school, it's more of a career-based type avenue where they fill out different surveys, they research different careers, and they kind of figure out what are some of the things that they like. And in School Links, it leads them in particular areas. So that's really nice in the middle school area. So when they get to high school, we have kind of an idea of what they're looking for and what their interests are. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the path they're going to take. But this year, we actually have now the ability for students, teachers, and parents to be able to see the course of study, the course pathway that they will have throughout high school, along with, we've just added this year, scheduling classes and viewing the classes they've completed already. So basically, it's going to give them a snapshot of where they're at and where they need to go. And it's when we got this was just recent, just about a week ago in DLT, we're supposed to be talking about Ames Web and MAP, but our high school team was like, oh my gosh, you can't believe it. This is amazing. We're over there, and Miss Cheston had to put us back in order and get us back on the MAP scores. But with School Links, the big thing for counselors now is with scheduling, we're able to have that parent check in and be able to see it. Often what we have is not just the teachers, not just the students, but parents. They're like, I don't know where my kid is. What do they need to do to be able to graduate? Just need my kid to graduate. Now everyone's going to have this. So this adds to transparency and allowing us to have them have access to that and take ownership of it. And celebrating our seniors in their college acceptance to different colleges and working on scholarships. Basically, we're trying to get those goals to becoming a reality. Through the scholarships, they are also posted in School Links. A lot of emails go out through School Links, and students know to be checking on that, especially the seniors. It used to be just the seniors using that with Gear Up, but now we're starting to use it more with the younger grades. We're hoping by the end of the year we're getting freshmen on board, so their sophomore year they're a little bit more familiar with it. Students have been talking with their counselors, especially seniors, but the other students as well, sharing their achievements. And we have a student that's earned up to 6 seals for their diploma so far already. We've also had approximately 30 students that have completed FAFSA, and with help with Cincinnati Youth Collaboration helping us in that assistance, we have workshops scheduled, and we've had a few already. The next one is February 13th from 5 to 7. We're inviting parents in during parent-teacher conference to sit in and kind of get some more information on that so they have a better understanding. Our Hope Squad has been doing amazing stuff about every month, sometimes every other month, depending on the holidays and such. Our Hope Squad is doing some fun little encounters with the whole student body. And we have Hope Week coming up here the week before spring break. They host different games at lunch. Teachers come down, and as those students come out, we do spirit days. We have goodies that they pass out in the AM, and we have little games and competitions between the grade levels. Just creating awareness with prevention. Our CTE success in Scarlet. In December, Scarlet Oaks came out and spoke with our sophomores in the mini auditorium, and we had all of our sophomores in there. There were so many kids that were interested. We immediately set up a field trip to go out there. So just a few weeks ago, we had the interested students go out to Scarlet Oaks, and we had 47 kids so far that have applied for Scarlet Oaks. Currently, we have about 50 juniors and seniors, but 47 of our sophomores have already applied, and hopefully those go well for them. The careers are the big thing coming up, and the students are really excited about those opportunities. I told you I'd make it quick, and there we have it. You have any questions?
Gotta get on school
Turn it back
links,
on.
apparently.
Yeah.
It's like I was watching something. Note to self, ask Carrie and Jenny about school links. Oh,
Yes.
I always
my own children.
said
Things.
high school needed a Wednesday folder like we had in elementary
Yeah.
school because, it is hard. So that's fantastic that they have that.
Therese Booth, when she was teaching here at Williams Avenue Elementary in fourth grade math, she had one of those Wednesday folders. And it was a binder with all their assessments and quizzes, and they had ownership of that, and they tracked their own progress. That's kind of what we're doing with School Links.
Yeah.
We're giving kids the opportunity to have ownership of that and also build upon that and know where they're going. This is even better that this year we started when you have whoever you had last year for your advisory teacher, you have them all 4 years.
Right.
Your locker is going to stay in the same place. So you're very familiar with that, and it sets up kind of like a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
That educator, that teacher is going to be able to create a relationship with them and the parent, and it'll be very easy to make phone calls and let them know some of the great things that are happening. But also give them a reference here in School Links where the kid's like, I don't know what I need to take next. Well, let's get on School Links and look. And they can both pull it up and go over it. Instead of what we've been doing for the past decades, well, you need to set up an appointment with your counselor so they can explain that to you. So this is helping the counselors out tremendously.
On their computer,
Yes.
so when I go home, I can make to open this thing.
It's in our little waffle
Show me
that they
this.
have on Aubrey. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else for Mr. Gabbard?
I just came from a wrestling match, and I'll head back over there after this meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gabbard. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right. Item 5 on the agenda. This is personnel superintendent recommendations. So at this time, I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Oh, thank you very much, Madam President. And just so you know, we have attached the Greater Courses study that Mr. Gabbard
Yes.
is right above that. If you're online, you can see it. All right, number 5, under employment. As you can see, we have 7 administrative contracts that are coming due this year. So the list is there for you to see. And we don't have a whole lot other than that except a supplemental contract for Sean Weisgerber for middle school boys track and no other coaches at this time.
All right.
So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Ronan. Item 6, this is our education committee. So I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you, Madam President. We have an approval of inclement weather makeup day, and those days are 4 days after this last couple days of May.
Yes. And we also, if you note, it's for this year and for next year. The state is requiring them, we put them on the calendar, and they were left off the calendar. So I wanted to make sure everyone was aware.
All right.
But right now, we still have 2 snow days left and one non-traditional instructional day left. But we have used a lot. We've used 3 snow days and 2 of those non-traditional days. So hopefully this month will be nice and warm and we won't have any more issues. But we do have to list our makeup days.
Starting one.
You have field trips on.
Oh, right. I'm doing that.
Oh, could you turn your mic on?
Oh,
We listed them
Yep.
in green at the bottom of the calendar so everyone can see those 4 makeup days in May, right after Memorial Day.
and note to parents, it doesn't mean we're using those days, only if we need to. So the red box is the last day of school.
Yes. That's true.
Unless, okay, so our next is our field trips, which is the high school going to a financial literacy event at TQL Stadium. Did that already happen? Because I think my kid did it, and she told me all about it. And they buy stocks. Yes, she was impressed. Although they got a memo and their stocks tanked at the last second.
Oh,
And the Norwood High School going to Scarlet Oaks, as Mr. Gabbard told us about. Sharpsburg going to Green Acres for water quality, 4th grade. I did that in 4th grade too. Norwood High School Orchestra going to the Aronoff Center for the Arts. I do believe that's tomorrow because my kid's doing that too.
all right. Thank you, Mrs. Rarica. Number 7 on our agenda, this is Policy Committee. So at this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Taylor.
Madam President, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Jessup.
We just have 2 policies this evening. The first one is policy BDC, which is executive sessions. There's nothing large in this policy, just a few verbiage things with an either and a for. So it doesn't change the meaning of the policy at all. Nothing substantial. The second policy is EHC, which is a cybersecurity policy. And I want to give credit to Mrs. Camphouse and Mr. Grandstaff for working on this policy and making sure that we felt comfortable with our cybersecurity policy that we have in place. So they have worked with OSBA verbiage as well, and then made it Norwood strong so that it represents our work here. So thank you to both of them for creating this policy for your review. And those are the only 2 policies for this evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Chesson. Nice break after the last couple of months.
Right.
And it's always fun when we have one where we actually get to change it a little bit or do something with it because everything gets handed down.
Randall did most of the work, and it was a lot of work. I like to brag on the district. He's truly really a great tech director, but he spent about a year working on cybersecurity. And then one of the things this cybersecurity training event is they suggested that our board policy was nice and strong. So he worked with our attorney and with OSBA to come up with a policy that truly is fit just for us. So
Wow,
he's done a great job.
awesome. Thanks for letting us
Thank you,
know.
Randall.
Yeah,
Yes, I've heard Mrs. Camphouse speak very, very highly of him
yeah.
in the past. So I could never fathom what he does,
Oh,
but
no. I don't understand it, but he does. a good
over
job.
my head, yeah. All right, item 8, this is our Building and Grounds Committee, which would be Miss Ballard, but we don't have anything here. Item 9 is our Finance Committee, so I will turn it over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. The monthly financials are attached for your review. The CFO report will be attached to Thursday's agenda as it isn't finished yet. The board meeting is early this month, so I have not been able to complete that. 9.02 is appropriation resolution, our current budget. 9.03, updated certificate of estimated resources. That's just our updated estimate on revenues for the current year. 9.04, OHSAA membership for the 25-26 school year, next year. 9.05, a resolution to change commercial property value. We have one property that our attorney is going to challenge. Per new mandates in state legislature, we can only file an original complaint against property values if the property is valued at more than $550,000 and the sale was more than 10% above the auditor value. Of course, as a district, we only contest commercial properties. To protect our residential property owners, we must keep the value of our commercial properties stable. Otherwise, our residential homeowners pick up the tax loss from these low commercial valuations. So it's important for us to make sure our commercial valuations stay appropriate. And finally, the last 9.06 bid advertisements for Williams Avenue Elementary Beautification Project. I'm really excited to get this one going because that means spring is getting closer. The notice to bidders is attached and will be advertised in the Cincinnati Enquirer once approved at our February 13th regular meeting. This project includes updating the playground, the parking lots, fencing, and green spaces around Williams Avenue Elementary. The bid opening will be March 18th at Williams Avenue Board Office.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Camp House.
Yes.
Item 10 on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The time is 6:21 and we